Okay, I need to make a recording just to make sure that you know how this clock operates. What I'm going to do is go through the chime sequence just to show it's working. Then I'm going to check the back, and then I'll show you every other part of it. So, with regards to the case, so it locks firmly. As you open it, you have the 9:30. So as you can hear, that's 1/2 past, and then as you go through to 9:45. Right, and then here's the 10 o'clock. So that's 10 o'clock. Then we'll go to the last sequence, which is going to be the quarter past. So 10:15. Now the thing you should know is that this is allowing it to chime, and the other way will make it go silent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it counterclockwise to this position. So you'll notice that this is pointing to silence, so that's lifted to the top and pointed to there. So what I'll do is I'll take it through, and it should just keep ticking, but you'll hear there's no sound. Then we'll take it to the next bit, and then you'll hear there's still no sound because it's in silent. And then what I'll do is basically take it to around about here, and then I'll bring it into chime. So I'll bring it back to chime. Okay, and then you'll see the sound will be completely different, but I'll explain why. So when you go through the normal chiming process, so you see it's a little bit out of line. That's not correct, so it's going to keep going round. So you notice that it sounds completely wrong, and it's not. It's just basically trying to catch up with the system. So because you've brought it in from silent to chime, the mechanism is catching up. So I'd say just let it carry on, and then once you, well, you don't have to move the hands, but let's say that the hands move towards the quarter 11:15. It will still be out of sequence. Yeah, so you'll see that it's back to the way it was before. So the important thing is when you move this to this, don't worry about this. The system will just catch up with itself. It'll just sound wrong when you move it from silent to chime. So as we go through to this bit, okay, so that's the 1/2 past. And what I'll do is I'll turn it to silent again. Okay, and then what you'll see is it'll be quiet, and then it'll be quiet again, and then I'll let it carry on. It'll be quiet, and then it'll be quiet. And then notice it's completely quiet. And then what I'll do is I'll let it get to the hour, and then let's just say that you want to hear the sound. So what I'll do is I'll put the chime back on, and let's just see what happens. So the normal clock will just keep ticking, and it goes to 1:15. Right, and then it will go to 1/2 past. Right, and then we'll go to 1:45. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll take it to 2 o'clock. Okay, see, notice it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it goes back to 8, which is completely wrong. But what I'll say is just let it run normally. So as it goes about to 2:15. So notice that it's 2:15, then gets to 1/2 past. Okay, and then what I'll do is 2:45. Okay, and now what we'll find is it's all caught up by itself by around about 3 o'clock. So you'll see the normal sequence. So you see that everything is caught up. I haven't changed anything, I haven't updated anything. Or all I'd say is when you move it from silent, just let it tick normally. Now, talking about ticking, so let me close the front because we've covered everything that we needed to do here. Let me make sure that the clock is wound. And this is the key you're going to get with it. Okay. Then what I'll do is I'll turn it around and we'll have a closer look at the inside. So the inside looks like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it through and I'll explain to you about how the balancing works. So inside the actual clock itself, there's the pendulum in order to set the balance. Now when you receive it, you'll be able to hear that it's ticking perfectly fine. Okay. What I'll also do is I'll let you hear the chime again. So notice. And one thing I need you to listen to, so I'll bring this very close, is this. The tick is a little bit off center. And the reason why this happens is because all surfaces are uneven and all these old clocks, so you can see that the surface is slightly uneven. So what happens is that whatever surface that you decide to put this on, you have to make sure it's calibrated to this clock. So I'm expecting this clock to stop. Notice that it's actually stopped. and that's because it's on it's on a surface that it wasn't before. So what I'd say is, in this section here, and I'll show you a closer look. So you see this L shape here is the thing that you need to calibrate. So what happens is, these old clocks, you need to, let me give you a better light. So you need to push it just a little bit to the other side, and then push it just a little bit. So it still sounds a little bit off center now. Let me do it a bit better. So the other side, just a little bit. So now when you listen to it, it sounds a little bit better. It's ticking and talking instead of talking more than ticking. So tick tock is perfect. So I'll let it carry on for a little bit, and I'll explain before, because last time, before we calibrated it, it stopped. So I'll explain what's happening. So last time it stopped, but this time it's working perfectly fine, because that little L shape there has actually been kicking in quite nicely. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let it tick for a little bit and turn off the music in the background. Bear with me. So you notice that the clock is ticking perfectly fine, and that's how you do it. Is when you receive it, you need to calibrate so that it's pushed a little bit left and right, so until it finds the center of gravity. So I'm going to let it carry on for a little bit, and hopefully it won't stop, but it shouldn't stop at all. All the bars here, so let me move it forwards. I'll explain what I'm doing here. This seems a bit too heavy, so what I'll do is I'll just bend it a little bit. This is how you calibrate it so it sounds better. So you notice it's not making any sounds anymore. So what I'll do is I'll just push it back, bend it back. So all of these now, and that's the hour one. There we go. So I'm going to let it play from the front. So this one's just needs to be pushed down a little bit. Okay, let's try that one more time. So let's take it to 4 o'clock. Okay, let's try that one more time. Now that sounds a bit better. So the whole thing is working perfectly fine. It's ticking away, as you can see. Now what I'm going to do is, for the purposes of packaging, what I'll say to you is that I'm going to remove the pendulum. I'm going to keep this bar in place. It should be okay and it should be stable. these will be padded so that they don't move at all, and that I'm going to take the pendulum out and I'll explain why. So you can see here, I'll take the pendulum out. The pendulum has a hook. Okay, so let's just zoom into that. Let me see if you can actually get a zoom into this. Yep, so you can see there's a hook there. This hooks onto the actual prongs, so it goes in away from you, and then it just basically hooks onto the piece there. Okay, so you just need to hook it onto that section there, right in the middle of the screen, and it just basically gets hooked onto there. Yep, so as soon as it gets hooked onto there, and then you place it in. So I'll show you what it looks like when it's being placed. So what you do is you basically put it behind it, in between the two prongs, and then you just hook it onto this. So it looks like this. So if you can see this, I'll zoom into it as well. So you can see here that the teeth are now sitting on there, the pendulum is on there, and it's in between the two prongs, so that it's actually moving away. So that's it. And the reason why you need to know this is that's how you slow down and speed up the actual clock itself. And that's it. That's all you need to know. This is as best a demonstration as I can give you. What I'm probably going to do is disassemble this entire thing, as in, sorry, just remove the pendulum for transport. I'm going to give you the key as well. I'm going to make sure that the glass is not broken. I'm going to pad these guys out and make sure that doesn't move, and that should be it. That's enough for me to transport this for you. Okay, I think this is the best as I can do. I think you've got a really great bargain, and yeah, the glass will be protected, the pendulum will be separate, everything else will come with it. So you've got the key, the pendulum, you know how to put that back, you know how to calibrate the clock. That's as best as I can do it. Thank you very much.